Hi everyone, Aaron, founder and CEO of XBIII Games here with you on this Friday. I hope you're having a good day, being about your ambition, all that. There's a lot going on right now. At the expense of thinking I recorded this actual whole video, I actually just freaking took a picture, and I can't tell you how many times that's happened. So everything that I said is just ultimately ended up being a picture. You got me here for a few hours. I got the house here to myself for a few hours. My mother won't be back until after 9 tonight, and that's actually a freaking blessing in disguise because she's going to a homeless shelter. She has therapy, which she does every single Friday. Today she has that at 2, and then she goes to what's called Celebrate Recovery, which is basically a church form of counseling that talks about God, Jesus, everything like that. Basically her obsession, what she's obsessed with. As you've seen, I'm in my kitchen, obviously. I've sat right there many times, talked to you before, August, last month, September, about all the crosses. There's 19 crosses in here, and we're at the point right now where basically she needs a guardian. She needs to have a permanent guardian. A guardian is someone that basically steps in to take care of someone. And it goes, you can't just do that by yourself. You got to go into a court of law and you got to file a petition. And so basically what's going to happen is I haven't done that yet, but I know it's going to get done because if I don't do anything, all this crap is just going to be made worse. Now you see these two knives right here. I'm going to talk about those in a moment. They're a part of my case. But I'm trying to build up here for guardianship to have the judge see it my way. Because when you go into a court of law, it's something called pro se, or pro se. It's a Latin term, which means that you represent yourself and you don't have a legal counselor. It's definitely not advised to do that. You want to have an attorney, a lawyer by your side so that the judge can look at what you're saying is documented, and basically, see it your way. If you go into court and try to make your case by yourself, it might as well just be hearsay or an out-of-court statement. Which you don't want. You want admissible proof. That things that actually happened, things that were documented, things that were notarized, police report, medical report, actual accounts that aren't fabricated. Because it's very easy to go in court, and if you lie, that's called perjury. You do that, you can get in trouble for that. You can even go to jail for it. One thing a judge hates is not telling the truth. It's the most obvious thing. People, you do an oath. They say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And you raise your right hand, and you go under oath. So you're saying that you're in a courthouse, you're saying you're going to tell the truth and only the truth, and you're not going to lie. Because if you do, it's on record, and the judge isn't going to rule in your favor. So I'd be in this case, if I file guardianship, I'd be the petitioner or the plaintiff. The plaintiff is on the right-hand side when you're looking at the judge. Obviously, the judge sits higher because the judge has the final say. So the judge is the deciding force. Has the most authority in the courtroom. So when you're looking at let's say the judge bench is right here, and then you have the audience, not the audience, but audience. The people who are attending, the audience. The people who are attending, they're in the back, and then you've got two lecterns. The lecterns is stand. You have one lectern here, one lectern here. The defendant is on this side, the plaintiff is on this side, the defendant's on that side. I'm pretty sure. I might be correct, but that's the setup. Two lecterns here, that's where one testifies here, one testifies here, and they usually have chairs for, a witness to testify on both sides behind the lecterns. And in a trial court, you'll have the jury will sit on the side. And then you'll also have someone that's like the judge's bench here, have someone right here like the clerk. The clerk that'll sit there and will document everything with like a typewriter. And that's how it works. So I have participated in a guardianship hearing before. However, it was indirect. I wasn't in an actual court. It was telephonic. And that was in 2021. That's when my sister got her guardianship on the 29th of July, 2021. It was so. What basically happened was the social agency that my sister was a client for and I work for to take care of her, because as I was her caregiver, the resource coordinator started up either the resource coordinator filed for guardianship. I think it was the vice president that did it on her behalf, my sister's behalf, and they did have a good lawyer, and the lawyer was able to present the facts in a very, very good way. Was very concise, because you want to go into court when you're making a testimony. You want to speak in short answers, but you want to be audible, you want to be articulate, and of course you want to dress the part. You want to show the judge that you are actually there trying to win the case. Don't bring phone, don't bring food, anything like that. It's all self-explanatory. Dress formal. Again, I've never been. It's a face-to-face hearing. This was a telephonic hearing, but it all went well. It was over in a matter of minutes, and the reason for that is because my mother didn't contest it. Had she contested it, it would have taken longer. But the defendant in a guardianship case is entitled to legal counseling, so the court will appoint an attorney or a lawyer for him and defend him. Which in my mother's case, I don't understand why she should even have that, but it is her right. That's the court of law. The defendant is allowed to have legal counseling and will be defended. So I haven't filed that yet. But if I do nothing, it's going to be a rinse and repeat of the past few months that you've seen. With everything that's gone down here, all of her outbursts, her psychotic episodes, her disruption, her not being able to hold a job, because she's had 9 jobs, and of those 9 jobs, 8 of them have resulted in a termination from a psychotic episode. I even have proof of. I have my case built up, a little bit of a case right now, but I got to talk to an attorney. I did have a family attorney, but that was when I was going through my sister's guardianship, trying to do that. I tried to get in touch with him, but he wasn't available. I wrote up a whole dissertation-style essay about what was going on. He never responded back. And that was very, very frustrating, a huge headache. But, ultimately my sister did get guardianship. And she's got wonderful providers, and she's taken care of. And she's been in home care for 6 months now, going to be 7 next November the 2nd, because she moved into home care March 2nd of this year. So it'll be 7 months next month. So what I'm looking at doing right now is getting her a guardian. Again, it'll be a permanent guardian. What would happen is I'd want this to be. You can do it 2 ways: guardian of the person or guardian of the estate. Guardian of the person means that the guardian only has control over the person and doesn't have control over their finances. An estate, it looks at your finances, your assets, everything like that, how that's managed. If you do both, the guardian has control of your, basically your rights are removed. This person is appointed. It could be family. It could be a family member or appointed by the court from the state, a state official or organization, a guardianship organization or someone like that has control of this person and decides where they live, what they do, if they can marry, there's a whole bunch of variables to it. Now, having said that, with my mother, given the fact that she hasn't been able to hold a job, the police have been called here approximately 42 times over 3 years, and that is documented. I do have the file, the number of calls, a call log that shows the number of times the police have come to this address, and the different types of calls, which have been IEA, involuntary emergency admission, so her being admitted to a hospital, disturbance, domestic disturbance, civil standby. That was actually when an officer had to come here when we were removed from this house and my sister got guardianship, and the guardian deemed it unnecessary for us to be here, and we started our little hotel story and journey, me and my sister, which I've talked about before. I am just a little tired. I apologize for that. As far as the other calls, missing person. One time she went missing. She was at a Walmart. I had to call a cop for that. They couldn't find her. They found out that she was at Walmart, which was a couple miles away from here, about 2.5 miles away from here, not too far. Got her back. Then there were many times where she wandered off, walked all over the place in our neighborhood. We have a lake down at the end of our street. She was saying she wanted to go in the water because she wanted to get baptized. There was some train tracks down there. She'd go down there at night, saying it's her little prayer zone, you know, where she's one with God. There was the thought that she was going to commit suicide. I remember an instance when I called my aunt. This was early on, and I was saying, okay, I think she committed suicide, and I got worried. My aunt said, "You call 911 now," which I did. So an ambulance goes flying down our street, gets her, sends her back to the hospital, and again, that was early on. And my aunt was exhausted. I remember her saying, "I feel like I'm going to throw up," but she felt better. But it's been hell. It's been hell and back. You know, mind you, I'm still grieving the loss of my dad. It's only been 4 years. So, you know, I'm just trying to take care of business right now. This guardianship thing is something that has to happen sooner than later. I don't care what she says. She's going to try to if she does get to court, if she even makes it to court, you know, because they got to, you know, they got to put it on the docket. It's going to be a probate court or family court. There'll be a probate judge. So the judge will, you know, if they decide to hear it, it'll be put on the docket, and then the hearing will get scheduled. And usually that's when people will contact an attorney and say, okay, I've got a hearing. I need this to be for a guardianship case, and, you know, they start working out the case and have a free consultation. With an attorney, before you get into the nitty-gritty, you have usually a free consultation. And they'll see what their fees are. They have a flat or hourly, you know, what their fee structure is and all that. And what, you know, if they're a good attorney or a lawyer or not. Having said all that, I'm going to show you a little evidence that I want to use. I guess you could say two exhibits. Maybe it's not an appropriate term, but they are exhibits. So this is the kitchen. I want you to see these two knives right here. One is a steak knife, it's a KitchenAid knife, and a butter knife. You know, kitchen utensils. I want you to look at the top of this knife and notice that it's jagged. The tip of this knife is deformed, and there's a reason for that. You can also see how it's kind of bent. Let's go the way up. We have that one, and then this is a butter knife. As you look at the butter knife, you'll see that the tip is also bent. You can see it's not as much as the steak knife, but it is bent. The reason for that, which I'm going to show you in a few seconds, is because my mother, in her fits of rage, when she's talking to herself, been psychotic and schizophrenic in nature, got really loud, aggressive, yelling, cussing all over the place, throwing hot air all over, negative energy all over this house, no doubt. She has taken this knife and in this manner stabbed and jabbed the floor vigorously over and over and over and over again, just like that. And before I get any further, okay, if you have the potential to stab a floor, guess what also there's potential for? Stab a body. If you can do that to a floor, you can do that to a body. And that's how murder and violence starts. So that's one reason, okay, she needs a guardian. She can't control herself. This has happened multiple times. I'm going to show you with both. I'm going to fit these knives, the tips of these knives, in the man-made holes that she produced. There are varying holes. If you look right here, there's one hole right there, one hole right there. Now these holes have not been produced with this steak knife, and we'll say that. But they are holes that have come from her fits of rage, her outbursts that have been going on for the past 3 years, really. Worse after we left. So 2021 to the present, 2021 to 23. And although she's taking medication, this is still happening, mind you. An atypical antipsychotic, Seroquel, which I've said before. Even though she's taking medication, all this behavior is still happening. And there, I'm going to show you one other hole right here. That's a bigger one. That's all caused by her. I'm going to pan in right here. See that right there? See that hole? That's also damage that's caused by her. Alright, so I'm going to take these two knives. I'm going to bring you over. This is the archway that connects the kitchen to the living room. And I'm going to show you right here all these holes. All these holes have been produced, man-made holes, by her in her fits of rage. There's also one right here. There are several of them. And I do apologize for my shadow. But they are here. Make no mistake about it. There's one right there. There are some right here. 1, 2, 3. They're all scattered. They're all right here. As I said to you before, the tops of the knives have a jagged edge. 1, 2. So what I'm going to do is show you that she caused these holes by inserting the tip of this knife into the holes. I'm going to start with the steak knife in this hole here. I'm going to insert this in there, and as you can see how that fits? So what she's done, when she's very aggressive, down here flipping out like she's done many, many times, and lied to me about it, saying there's no problem, I'm hearing things, which is not. That's someone. I'm just going to tell you something right now. That's just someone with mental illness, okay? Covering up their problem. What she's done is taken that and jabbed it like that. You do not produce a hole. Okay, you do not produce a hole by lightly tapping. I don't care. Give a damn what she says. I don't care what her testimony is about that. Okay, that is potential violence. Okay. And that's why I've been scared that she could kill me or stab me or something like that. And I've got every reason to feel that way. Okay, so that's this one. We're going to come over here to this one right here. This is a piece of trim. And this right here, there's a hole there. I'm going to drop this knife in there. Look how it fits. Absolutely perfectly. So she's taken this knife and stabbed the floor. Or jabbed it. That's why that looks like that. And she's going to make up an excuse and say, "Oh, Your Honor, oh, that didn't happen. And she's told me before, okay? She's told me before, and this is a direct quote, it's a lie from hell." And I looked at her like, are you freaking kidding me? The judge isn't going to even take her seriously. He's going to find out she's got mental illness, and that she needs a guardian. Because she does need a guardian. Alright, we're going to switch with the butter knife, which has a less jagged edge. But you can see it right there. And I'm going to go to this hole again because either of these knives could fit in here. I'm going to drop that in there. And you see? Look how perfectly that fits. So she could have used the steak knife or the butter knife. Same thing. And bam, bam, bam. Just like that. And I'm going to drop it in there. And it fits perfectly. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, even though I'm not before a judge, that's my testimony right there. She's used these knives to jab this floor, okay? And that's the potential for violence, okay? And, she hasn't done this out in public, but I'm take pictures of these. I'm going to take pictures of the knives inserted in the holes to show that these holes were man-made and produced by these knives by my mother in a psychotic state where her emotions were elevated. She was, because that's one big reason right there. Pardon my anxiety. So you've seen it right there. And mind you, a few years ago, she got, for one reason or another, this was back in 2020, she bought this like hunter's kit, and it got this giant steak knife. This like hunter's knife. I was freaking mortified. When I saw it, I tossed it. Because I was thinking one thing, that a voice was in her head, was in her head, either bipolar or schizophrenic, because there's bipolar and schizophrenic voices to tell her to kill someone like me. So, butter knife and steak knife, that's why those holes have been caused. No lie, no joke, no bullshit. I'm no bullshitter. You know why? Because trauma exists to do only one thing. Hurt. And my pain is real. Damn straight it is. for sure. And that's why, okay, the guardianship thing has to happen. The violence, the outbursts that have not just transpired here in this household, in this dwelling, but all around my small city here. On the main strip. She's went up and down, yelling and screaming. She's trying to say, I've been singing and everything like that. Another gentleman here, the homeless gentleman, his name was Gerard. He was here for a little while. He moved out September 3rd? No, August 3rd. August 3rd. He went to another state. He was staying here temporarily because my mother wanted to help him. My mother had it out with him, called him the devil, everything like that. Finally gave him a free pass. Finally, stopped tearing him a new one, because he believed in God. He was a Catholic, believed in God. But he told me some things about my mother, and I'm like, yeah, I know she's done this. There's no way I was gonna believe this. It wasn't just happening here. And, she tried to tell me, because when I came back here, and I had a conversation with her in a Mickey D's, we met there, she was saying, come back, everything's going to be good, everything's going to be great, I promise, she promised me up and down. I came back here, was the exact opposite of that. This house is in foreclosure, there's no auction date. She's trying to basically go through a housing assistance relief fund, which I've mentioned in my tweets before, in my Twitter account. They're trying to get $25,000 to bring the debt, get rid of the debt, bring the loan current so that it can be paid. She just got a job. Okay, she got a job as a dining server at an assisted living facility. She's got to send paperwork in to get that done. And I'm going to tell you right now, based upon her track record of not being able to keep a job for more than 4 months, I give it like a week. And I got to act